Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my review of The House of the Dragon, which is the Game of Thrones prequel series. Good. Obviously, this is like episode 1 review. We'll talk full spoilers. It's been out for a little while. Apparently, it leaked as well. The premiere episode leaked, which was a little bit shocking to hear, I guess. HBO's normally pretty tight on things like that. So first things first, it's really good to be back in this world. And hopefully we can sort of all leave the sour taste of Game of Thrones behind us with that last season. Now, I've never really been one, I've never reviewed Game of Thrones. I think it was before my time, actually, on YouTube. I think maybe the last season came out whilst I just started. This channel's relatively young. It's only like 2016 Christmas Eve, I believe, was when this was made. So, I've not been one to massively talk about Game of Thrones, but I enjoyed Game of Thrones on a whole. And then the last season really, in my eyes, it just shit the bed completely. So it's good to be back in this world, but with wiping that taste away. Now, the showrunners and things like that, and individuals involved in the show have said some questionable things around motives behind doing certain things. It's not immediately apparent whilst you're watching this series. So those that are concerned about that sort of element of whilst watching this show, it's not there. Not from what we can see in terms of the dialogue and the interaction. It's just not there. Now, this is a Game of Thrones again, right? We're talking about the Targaryens and the heirs to their throne. We've got Daemon Targaryen, played by Matt Smith, who obviously is going to want to take over that throne. You've got Rhaenyra Targaryen, who is stated to be the successor, the heir, by the end of episode 1, and it's setting this Game of Thrones up, right? That is what we're going to be watching, one would imagine. I don't know anything about it during this season, or during this show. The production values are massive once again. I don't know what the budgets are for the show, but they are apparent, very apparently high whilst you're watching this show. It's all really much... It's all there again, it's very Game of Thrones. We know the world, and I think that's reassuring because it hasn't dropped in quality. There was one thing, but I think it's due to the coloration. So I think the dragon that Rhaenyra sort of flew in on, when it landed, when it was flying, it looked great. When it landed, I think that striking gold colour offset against the sort of brown dirt of King's Landing did look a bit stupid. It looked too contrasting. And I think that's I don't think it's a CGI issue. I just think it's just due to the coloration that they've chosen for that dragon. That's it. I genuinely think that's it. Because, later in the episode, we see the same dragon who, gets that phrase, Dracarys, fire, so it can light the fire of the late queen and the son, which was cut out of her. Brutal scene. They're obviously both dead, and the dragon is instructed to light the pyres so they can obviously, burn and go to the afterlife, so to speak. And it looked fine there. So the quality is still really, really high. Standout, just the standout. One person is a standout in this, and it's Matt Smith. Matt Smith has been in so much crap, and it's not his fault. Like, sometimes scripts look good, sometimes they don't. I'm sure a lot of the stuff that he's been given, like the most recent one was Morbius, and we know that was changed. We know that they'd even changed and adjusted his character as he was going through it, right? For him to finally be in something where he can really dig his acting chops into something which is actually going to be good and represent him as an actor in a very good light, as in it's a good show overall, because this is what I'm getting the vibe of this. It's so refreshing because he is a great actor, and he really did this well. He plays Daemon Targaryen, and he plays this sort of quite subdued but calculating. You can see the calculation, cold, vicious, yet warm at certain points when he's interacting with, I keep saying Rhaenyra, I think it is. That's really good. His acting ability is great, and he's, you know, I mean, I first saw him kind of prominence in Doctor Who way back, and he was really good in that as well. He's a good actor, so it's good to see him in this, and it's good to see him as a standout. Everyone else is doing a good job. There's no one in this that you're looking at going, you're all shite, or you're terrible, or whatever. The quality is good. Just across the board, it's good. There's subtle interaction between the current king and his wife, and that's nice. Like, obviously before she dies, it's all really, really well performed. The acting capabilities of everyone involved, so the casting behind this, has been very good. Now, the story, obviously it being another Game of Thrones, and they talk about, you know, the long winter as a prophecy, and that being passed down from heir to heir. That's interesting. They called that prophecy the Song of Ice and Fire, which is obviously pertaining to the names of the books and things like that. And that's interesting, right? Like these subtle little, ooh, okay, cool, that's kind of cool. And obviously watching the Targaryens as a dynasty, you know, a group of individuals that are actually ruling over and how they do it and things. I like it. Like the story overall and it approaching that sort of Game of Thrones-esque world again, I think will be interesting. I really do hope, though, that they keep some of these sort of cameo elements down. You know, like I feel like, you know, when we see Baratheon and Stark, I really hope, you know, we don't sort of get that sort of nudge, wink, wink moments throughout this show. I sincerely hope so, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be that type of show. So hopefully that stays out of it. So the story overall, I'm really keen to see where it goes. The scene, and it is brutal. It's an absolutely brutal scene when the Maester, the Grand Maester, says to the king, "We can still get your baby out. Basically, we have to kill your wife." Like. No two ways about it. I mean, there's just the blood everywhere. And the fear in her voice. That was really well performed. The fear. And that's what it was. It was fear. And that, I think that's quite hard to perform, fear. To genuinely seem terrified. She seemed confused. She seemed just mortified that her husband was going to choose this. And we'd sort of had that scene prophesized when, you know, the king had said, well, I had a dream, you know, he came out with a crown. And she says, well, I hope it's not a crown, because it's going to be painful enough as it is. And then, yeah, I mean, it was awful. And you know what? It's scenes like that are shocking, but are not for shock factor. Like, that scene's very clearly, it's a shocking scene, but it's not for shock factor. It's not gratuitous. You know, it's not just there because we can do it. And I like this. The writing so far is good. Like, it's compelling. I want to keep watching it. I will keep watching it, and I will obviously keep reviewing it for you. So what did you guys think of it? Let me know down below. And let me know if you want me to keep reviewing it. Obviously, you know, the more people that want to, the more I will. But cheers, ladies and gents. Take care.